Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Metal Magdalene with Jet right here on Metal Messiah Radio. Tonight we have a special guest with us. We have Mr. H Anselmo. Welcome to the show, Phil.
Thanks for having me, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So, Phil, this year marks your 50th birthday, and in these 50 years you have definitely made your mark on the music industry. How would you describe your musical journey, and are you doing anything special to celebrate?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to laugh. All I can do, that's all you can do. It's like 50, my Lord. Number one, you think, how the hell did I make it this long? Number two, you think, I'm kind of sandwiched in here, you know. It's like, I'm not young anymore. And it's like, so I can look back and see the zeal of the youth, and I can love that much of it. Mm-hmm. And then I look at the old, and I can have a deep respect for them, too, man. It's like, holy shit. It hurts so bad to wake up these days after the rough ride I've gone through, you know, physically, man. It's like, good Lord, man, just wait for 20 years to pass if I'm so unfortunate. So, anyway, musical journey. It's been productive. I don't know. That's all in the eye of the listener, or the ear of the listener, to be precise. Man, I've just been having fun making music. It's all I know. It's been my sole passion since I was a child. And, gosh, man, I'm an explorer amongst millions of other explorers in this beautiful world of music. And, heck, man, I've been having, I guess, like life, it has its ups and downs. Mm-hmm. But, such is life. You gotta take it how you get it, and how it rolls out, and how the dice fall, and the cards are dealt. Just deal and move on, and all you can do is the best you can. Mm-hmm. And that's all you can do, man. Because Lord knows you ain't gonna please all of them.
Never.
All the time, all those little sayings that surround that entire sentiment are true. So, man, I take things easy. Easy like Sunday morning, baby. Hit me with another question.
All right. Okay. So, you continue to make music with so many bands, but most recently with Scour as well as the Illegals. But I want to mention Scour really, really quick because I'm a huge fan of the Jarvises, and you too, Phil. And I've had them both on the show, and they're, of course, mentioned you in their interviews. So tell us a little bit about Scour really quick. And last year, too, when you were out playing with them, excuse my Yankee accent, in New Orleans, you did a cover of Strength Beyond Strength. So what was it like for you singing that song on stage? And tell us a little bit about Scour as well.
Oh, hell, man. Scour is the brainchild of Derek Hangeman, and I swear, it was like I got 2 emails, and next thing I know, I'm in a band. It's like, what? Wait a minute. Are you sure? You know, but man, once you get and sit down with everybody in the band, man, your gushing love for the Jarvi, as they're known under this roof, the Jarvi, the plural, is true. They are lovable characters. They're wonderful people. And Derek, talk about a sweetheart, sweet guy. Mm-hmm. All of those fellows are ridiculously talented. So, man, it's just a pleasure to jam with cool dudes, man. It really is. And you know, shoot. Yeah, honestly, it's really, I'm flattered that they want me in the band, and that's cool, man. It's good stuff.
Again, also last year you did that cover of Strength Beyond Strength. What was it like singing that song on stage? And what was the crowd reaction?
People ask me that, and really, all I got to say is this, man. Pantera, of course, will go down probably, I would think, at this stage, looking back in hindsight, they'll go down as the band that people know me from the most, of course. So, the Pantera fans are the best. So, in a heavy metal setting, if I'm with the guys in a band, and Scour specifically, they took the time to learn the song, and they want to play it on stage. So that means something to me. That's like, oh man, these guys even love, it's like, God damn, this is triple dipping the beautiful nostalgia of it all. And really, look, man, it's my pleasure. I know it's part of my history, and people want to hear it, that's fine, and people want to play it, that's even better, and shit, man, it's fun to do, so, yeah, I have no qualms, man, it's cool. Like I said, I'm easy like Sunday morning.
Okay, so today we're here to talk about the new release from H Anselmo and the Illegals. Now, Phil, tell us a little history behind the band and why you formed this.
Just another expression of music under the umbrella of heavy metal, but I would say a more extreme version, although this is the second record. The third record isn't even... Actually, we have a couple of little EPs here and there, and splits with War Beast, but I would think the next record will sound way different than the other two, because this one sounds different than the first, and it might even take different incarnations. So it's just a outlet for extremity, and really working with the guys in the band. Once again, this lovable group, man, of guys. Steve Taylor and Mike DeLeon play guitar in the Illegals, and they're great. They're contributors. Me and Steve have grown big time together, and Mike and I are just really, over the last 2 years, really gelling together. And then there's Walter Howard, who came with Mike DeLeon. He's just solid as a rock. And then there's little Blue Gonzalez, who's been jamming with me now since he was 19. And
wow.
In War Beast, now he's a 26-year-old daddy, and he's getting better all the time. And man, his future is gonna last longer than mine, man. He's by the time he's 36, I'll be in my freaking 60s, and he'll be an incredible drummer by then, man. And he's well on his way now. So working with these guys is just, oh gosh, they keep me young, these young guys.
Well, reading through how you were making the first album for the Illegals, or the last one, I guess, not the very new one, but you did all the writing yourself, and you wanted everything, and now this time you let everybody have a chance. So you're happy now that you did that?
Oh, well, yeah, of course. I was in a particular mindset on that first record, for damn sure. I really was. There was many different avenues, and that's probably a whole different conversation. But with this new record, I really wanted to get back to what I love about extreme music, and that it had to have two guitars. I love two guitar bands, and actually, and I've said this in a couple other interviews, but it's worth addressing, I guess, because of the sound of the record itself. There are 3 guitar tracks on there because I laid a guitar as well as Steve and Mike, so we're all mixed in there, just doing. We all have our own variations, so to speak, of the riffs, and then Steve Taylor likes to step out a bit and do his own thing, and Mike does a couple solos here and there, but really, we're really
And so let's talk a little bit now of the usual mundane questions coming at you, Phil. Tell us a little bit about the lyrical content and how it ties into the title of the album, Choosing Mental Illness as a Virtue.
Well, on this record, for damn sure, everything from the title of the record to the title of the songs to the lyrics, even down to specific words. There's double meanings and triple meanings, so I've built a framework here to where people can listen. Mm-hmm. They can catch a vibe, because, I could be coming from a certain place, but I like to leave the ends of that a bit absurd, definitely on purpose. And for me, I think it's important that you kind of leave the interpretations up to the listener, because for me, it's actually hilarious to sit back and think of the frame of mind I was in, but to read someone else's interpretation of how they're taking it, because good God, woman, let me tell you, some of the shit that people come up with are so far removed from where I was at on a subjective matter at all that it's ridiculous. But for me, it kind of adds to the lore of the whole damn thing. So I'm like, just let it roll, man. Let people keep avalanching these stories together. It's hilarious. It's great.
And, speaking of, the title and the songs and this whole, insane, literally content, the cover itself, before you even listen to it, it reminds me of every old movie I ever watched about insane asylums. So, what were you going for with that cover?
I was going for the Titicut Follies, baby, and look that up if you don't know what I'm talking about. And I suggest anybody listening to the show or reading a transcript of this interview, look it up. The Titicut Follies. You'll find out.
I'm going to do it right after we hang up.
You should. It's well worth an investigation, man. It's a bleak view at mental illness.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of the vibe I get from the whole thing. And like I said, the cover itself was... I looked at every freaking picture, And I still remember in my mind, I'm not looking at it right now, but there's one picture of what looks like a guy's getting a lobotomy. And,
yeah, and actually I'm in touch with one of the guys. Actually, there's a kid on the cover. It's a picture of him as a kid with very blackened eyes. Mm-hmm. Me and my wife have been in touch with him. Her more so than me, admittedly. In order to use his image on the cover of the record, I felt like it was important. She felt like it was important because we explained what the record meant to me, and he could completely, I guess I'll just say he gave us the green light. He gave us the thumbs up because he believed in it. And really, I guess to tie that all up is like what this album is really is an examination of myself, my childhood, what makes me me, what makes me tick, and that definitely goes from my childhood on, and also made me look at my parents and where the bloodlines and relatives, et cetera, and where my heredity comes from, and where I have clues, very, very loud and screaming clues in certain relatives of where I get depression and where I get mood swings and certain things like that, and little things, and it doesn't even have to be negative things, but it's just personal traits I can see both in me. So it's an interesting study, but also, looking at the earth over, there's always an illness, there's always a stirring of the spirit out there. And within that stirring of the spirit, there's many people out there that do feel alone with their depression, and they feel like they are very uniquely depressed. Well, I'm not so sure that. I think that we are imperfection. We are the ultimate imperfection, because we have, and I do mean this in a human way, we have this thing called reason, and that makes us dangerous, so to speak. But it also it gives us the ability to make choices. And a lot of times when somebody is depressed or chemically imbalanced, more accurately, you gotta wonder about their responsibility for something that might happen or might have happened that caused harm or something like that to somebody else. It's like, I think that everybody put in a situation has that primordial gel still in them that cannot predict how they will react put in a certain situation of stress. It's people are just an instant away from doing something drastic, right. And then that's just true, and it's just up to us to harness all this shit. And at the end of the day, it's up to us who do struggle with depression to take this cloud of negative energy, this negativity, and to morph it into something positive.
Right.
And I know that there's a lot of people that do not have music or sports or something chosen as a target or as a goal or as a way to vent this frustration in a positive way instead of a negative way. It's something that is always fascinating to examine.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to agree. And I think also, Phil, when we get older, we, understand it a little more. I think when you're younger and you're dealing with it, you always think that it's just you and nobody else is feeling it. But when you get older, you realize, just by being in the world and reading and meeting other people that have the same thing, that you're not alone. But I definitely think that when you're younger, and especially if you don't have an outlet like music or anything, you have to feel very alone.
Well, you just read it. I mean, you said it. What I meant is that you interpreted what I said correctly, very correctly. And it does come with experience, being able to obviously look at things in hindsight, but
and to deal with it yourself too.
It's you have to. You have to. Self-scrutiny is really pretty freaking important, man. But within that, though, I also would like to say that when I say that, self-scrutiny is important, some people might take that as I guess it could be taken as almost like to scrutinize oneself. I guess it could be taken in the wrong way. So I want to make it clear that within this scrutiny of oneself, you gotta have a fucking whopping dose of laughter. You gotta be able to laugh at yourself big time in order to scrutinize yourself. You got to.
I think you're right.
Oh, I know I'm right.
You're right. So, Phil, now with the new album, are you guys going to be doing some touring or anything like that?
Well, here's the big banana for you, right?
Right on.
1 week from now, I'm going under the knife again.
Oh.
Have a second follow-up back surgery that's been nagging my ass for a decade now. And I finally hit a wall, man, and so I said, fuck it, I'm going to get this thing fixed. I knew it was coming up late last year, and once you get put on that old schedule of, yes, the green light's on, you can have surgery, you get put on a list. So I knew it would be coming up early this year. I am ecstatic that it is happening when it's happening, which is right at the end of January. The recovery time is barely a month.
Oh, that's good.
I'll be, and man, if they fixed what they gotta fix, and when they fix what they gotta fix, I will be, I'm predicting. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
will be heavyweight champ before the age of 60.
I was going to say, you're going to be a whole new man if it all turns out okay.
I will be an Olympian in track and field.
All right. Well, we're super looking forward to that, Phil. Another thing you can add to your hat there. Another feather.
Oh, God. Can you imagine how ridiculous I would look in an Olympian outfit like those track and field outfits? Jesus Christ.
Oh, I think it'd be great.
Oh, it'd be fucking ridiculous.
Put you in some of them
I got
Speedos.
the little skinny Sicilian legs and shit. It'd be funny.
Oh, God. So, hey, I see another album cover coming on, Phil.
Just my legs?
No, it's got to be the whole thing and your whole outfit there.
Oh, me wearing the old Olympic, I can do the shot put
Perfect.
pose.
Perfect.
The old shot put pose. I'm ready. Yes.
Hey, after that operation, we're going to expect it from you.
No, hell no. It's not hold me to this. Hey, I'm just saying,
I know.
literally this time and not figuratively, madam, that
I know.
I'll be feeling killer.
Well, it's always good when you're in pain for that long and then it's gone. It's a whole new life. So
Well, the main surgery, the big boy, in 2006 was massive in comparison to this one that's coming up, and it's just
Good.
nipped this one little thing in the bud, man. It's just nagging me, and I just, you can handle the threshold of pain for as long as you can.
yeah, but still, enough
And
is
then
enough.
it's like, man, this is grinding on me. And, they have, what's interesting is having damaged my back so young, I get to follow what's going on in the world of neurosurgery.
Sure.
So it's like, you see how it progresses every 5 years. Massively, over and over and over and over. So it's kind of like waiting for the technology to present itself to you, and then you pounce when you think it's good, man. So
You're ready to pounce.
I pounced. I did.
Good. And now you're gotta go get that last tweak operation, and hopefully, like you said, you're gonna be a new man.
I'll be the next
Heavyweight champion, you said.
before the age of 60.
There you go.
At least, look, there's 4 major titles out there. I'll unify 2 of them.
We got 10 years to do it.
Bring on Anthony Joshua.
Oh, boy. Here we go. So, hey, Phil.
He's only 6'8", 250 pounds.
Ah, P-sharp.
If I ran, no, he'd catch me, actually. Never mind.
So,
I retire.
there you go. Yeah, okay. We're looking forward to that. Absolutely.
No, you're not.
I would. Who wouldn't look forward to that, Phil? Come on now.
Come on. In this biz, the only thing they retire
Oh boy, now we're getting morbid. So before.
No, I know, but I mean, it's...
No, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. So hey, Phil, what's the best place people can go to learn more about the Illegals? Phil Anselmo and the Illegals. The Facebook website, you got all that jazz.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about the internet or anything.
Yeah, okay, let's just say Facebook, and I think you have a Phil Anselmo
and I got
website.
thehousecoolrecords.com.
There you go, the Housecore Records there. They'll find all that jazz on there, and Phil, there you guys go, Phil Anselmo and the Illegals, new album out January 26th off Housecore Records called Choosing Mental Illness as a Virtue. And Phil, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show, and all the best this year, and good luck with your operation.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course you can.
Are you crazy?
No, I'm a happy person. Why?
It's my pleasure for being on the show, and thank you for having me.